Welcome to Ciao Bella Living Italian Style. I'm your host, Barbara Ann Zippi, and we have an exciting show for you today, all about what you might have ever wanted to know about the Versace family, straight from Italy. And that's going to be with Bryan Abrams. But hold on a few minutes, and first we want to tell you about a couple exciting things that have been brought to our attention in the recent weeks. And if you haven't been... If you're from the Philadelphia tri-state area and you haven't been down to the Navy Yard yet, the Delaware Valley Italian-American Herald had the chance to be down there recently. And I remember when I was growing up in the streets of South Philadelphia outside of Girard Estate, I remember that the Philadelphia Navy Yard had those barriers and you really couldn't go past the barricades. Well, now it's a whole entrance into almost like a whole new city. And you can see the battleships and everything up close and personal, the old construction and the new construction. So if you haven't been there yet, that's going to be a wonderful day trip for you. And then I want to do a special shout out to my friends at Vinyl Revival in Lansdowne. We have Italian Classic Movie Night the second Friday of every month. And in this past month, when I went there, when I walked into the door, what greeted me was one of the songs from my Uncle Al's Italian album, which I hadn't found a copy of. And when she was going through the record inventory down at Vinyl Revival, she surprised me with this one. So I want to thank Andrea DeFabio and her husband, Greg, at Vinyl Revival. So if you're ever around on the second Friday of the month, stop down for an Italian movie and a good time, and maybe we'll have O Sole Mio playing from Al's Italian Holiday album. So that brings me to our guest, and you're in for a great show this afternoon, tonight, whenever you may be watching this, and that's with Bryan Abrams from Wilmington, Delaware. Welcome, Versace's #1 fan.
Thank you very much. I so appreciate being here with you, having met you out and seeing my Versace shirt. You thought it'd be a great idea for me to come, and it's my honor to be sitting here with you.
Well, you know, the first thing I forgot to pull out was where we met, which was at the Kimmel Center and the Philadelphia Style Party.
Yes.
And when I saw you in Versace, first thing I said is, "Are you Italian?" And what did you say?
I said, "No, I'm Jewish."
You're Jewish, but you're Italian.
But it's close to Italian in the heart, exactly.
You really, really are, and you really are Versace's #1 fan.
Absolutely. To me, it's not. I don't wear the clothes. It's a lifestyle for me. The license plate on my car says Versace. All my clothes are Versace. I'm wearing a watch and a ring from Versace.
Well, we have to find the picture of the car with Versace, and actually, this is a Fiat car.
Yes, it's a Fiat. It's a actual retro Fiat that they put out last year, limited edition, 1957 Fiat retro, and I loved it because I love all things Italian.
And that's from our friends at Carman Auto Group.
Carman Auto on DuPont Highway there, Larry Giacchino and those guys, yes.
And Larry was on with his son and his dad, so we're going to have a little reunion show.
Oh, absolutely.
That'd
be great, yes.
Now, we have a couple pictures of you with Johnny and Donatella. Julia, can you put those up by any chance?
Yes.
And this one is a little grainy, but that's okay because
that's the man himself.
That's the man.
The man, the myth, the legend. To me, he was at that's the height of his fame, 1994, 95. But to me, he was just a friend. Once you met him and you knew him, if you just ran into him somewhere, he was a friend. He wasn't the famous fashion designer that the world knew. He was, and I took my best friend to South Beach for his 40th birthday, 1994. And unfortunately, the last place that Johnny was the day he got killed was the News Cafe. He always came down there to get magazines and newspapers. Well, he was down there getting them that day, and he saw me. And my best friend to this day says he couldn't believe he had breakfast with Gianni Versace.
Because of you. Now, how did you meet him originally?
He was, at one point in my life, I was this big.
Wow.
I was
really?
very heavy, over 200 and some pounds.
God bless you.
And decided it was time to start losing weight. And there were some wonderful pictures of me and my 4 brothers growing up. where we all had the same coats, but as I got bigger and bigger, they might have had something, and I couldn't get into those clothes.
And growing up, was that in Wilmington?
That was in Wilmington. My
Okay.
mom raised 5 boys by herself.
Wow, God bless her. What part of where'd you go to school in
Went to Mount
Wilmington?
Pleasant High School, University of Delaware.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started to lose weight, and I went through different phases. I started looking at magazines. I started looking at different things, and I saw a thing there where Johnny meet a fashion designer. I'm like, okay, I want to meet a fashion designer, and he was just getting started. And when I saw the beautiful, colorful clothes, which I love colors, it's my personality. I'm known for my colors. I was like, wow. And we met, and like I said, the next time I met him, he remembered who I was, and then it just developed from there.
So how did you go about this amazing Versace collection of shirts? Like this one, of course, this has the Versace hanger. What is this one?
This is my favorite Versace collection. This is the South Beach collection, which is after he had a gorgeous place in South Beach on Ocean Drive, and he designed an entire collection. And all of these shirts, this is the shirt here, and if you look on the back, Barbara, it's got the Miami and it's got the old vintage cars on it.
Okay.
And this is Tarzan collection, Tarzan, which was from that era.
And then there's the Tarzan in the back.
Right. And then this shows some of the famous hotels of South Beach on there, and it says, you know, the Miami down the front of it and Miami on the back. It's just phenomenal. Johnny was a master. He was a genius.
Beautiful.
And again, the color, you look at the vibrancy of the colors. No one has ever done anything like this whatsoever. On the back you have Miami, Florida, USA. His shirts, where some designers might have 2 or 3 colors, Johnny would do a shirt with 16, 18 different colors on it. And they're conversation pieces to me.
These are all limited edition.
Yes, and they're works of art to me. They are, when you wear a Versace shirt, I met you because I was wearing a Versace shirt. When I would walk down the street, people stop and they talk and they wear, and that's how I've come to be a fanatic about Versace and promote the brand, because to me it's a lifestyle. It's a feeling.
I wanted to show the picture with you and Donatella.
Yes.
And when did you get to meet Donatella? In what?
Donatella, I met. Versace's were giving an honor in 2007 on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, where they pick certain designers each year and they dedicate a brick to them, or stone on the Hollywood Rodeo Drive. And there was a party out in Beverly Hills that I got invited to, and they dedicated one to Johnny and one to Donatella. And it was a wonderful party, and I got to meet, Donatella, who has done a phenomenal job taking over after Johnny got shot in 1997. A lot of people were worried that the company was going to go downhill, disappear.
Right.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Barbara.
Yeah.
Johnny was the genius. He was the one on the cover of Time magazine. Everybody.
It was all him. It was
all him. And Donatella had a small part. She was his muse. She had done a line called Versus, which they've redone now again, and right now it is hot. Versace line is hot. People love it. People want it.
It's exciting to see how she stepped in.
Absolutely.
She kept his legacy alive. She expanded upon the Versace legacy.
Yes.
Because nobody would ever forget Johnny.
Nobody will ever forget Johnny, but Donatella has come into her own.
Absolutely.
Her clothes are vibrant. Her men, her women, people are now want to wear Versace again.
Yes.
For a while there after Johnny, I know retailers who stopped carrying Versace. They were like, okay, it's over. Nobody's ever going to do this again. And Donatella found her way, and now everybody wants it again. It's hot.
Well, you are too. And we're going to be back with more with Bryan Abrams right after this, with more Ciao Bella Living Italian Style. Stay tuned.
Ciao Bella. I'm Andrea DeFabio, owner of Vinyl Revival. I'm proud to partner with Ciao Bella Living Italian Style for an Italian classic cinema series every second Friday of the month at Vinyl Revival, 35 North Lansdowne Avenue. All screenings are BYOB and snacks, and if you'd like more information, please visit Vinyl Revival or Ciao Bella Living Italian Style on Facebook. Ciao Bella.
Welcome back to Ciao Bella Living Italian Style. Here with Bryan Abrams today, #1 Versace fan in the USA and I think the world. And actually, he brought in to share with us today this book that Johnny did sign for him, which was a special book that he did on South Beach. And I'm sure it's limited edition and not too many of them are around. But it is a beauty. And I thank you so much for bringing these today.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, do you have a favorite Versace story?
Well,
One of.
I mean, when they opened up the boutique on Fifth Avenue in 1997, it was a big party with a lot of celebrities. And the manager of the store at the time said, you know, Mr. Versace would like to see you. And I'm like, and I said, why would he want to see me? And I asked him, and I said, you know, you got all these people up here, they're your celebrity friends. And he goes, well, you're my friend too.
Well, that's nice.
It was great. And that's exactly how he was. If he met you once, he would remember you. He would just treasure the friendship. There was nothing like him. The day he got shot was July 15, 1997. And in my business, I had 5 phones. And right before, at 8:58, one phone rang. And it was the girl who was the hostess at the News Cafe, the last place he was, who was a very good friend of mine. And she said, Bryan, I got something to tell you. Could you sit down? And then another phone rang. And it was Roy Campbell, who was the fashion editor of the Philadelphia Inquirer at the time. Wow. He goes, Bryan, I've got something to tell you. It's going to be very upsetting. Could you sit down? And one after another, different fashion people were calling me to tell me about that my friend was gone.
Well, your friend was gone. Well, you have done him homage with being the ambassador, unofficial ambassador, but you certainly are a Versace ambassador, which leads us to your summer excursion. And we haven't really featured the World Milan Expo here before, and you went.
Oh, it was great. Part of the fact that I was able to tie in June, I always go to the Versace fashion show, which they invite me. And then it was the World Expo this year, and it was in Milan, which was amazing. In fact, I had bought tickets for one day because I thought, I could see everything in one day. But it was so incredible. I went 3 days.
Well, we just saw a picture of the entrance.
Oh, which was spectacular.
Looked magnificent.
They looked to me, it was like small pyramids that were there, and it was just spectacular when you went through the ticket booth and you walked in and you were hit with that, and it was like, whoa.
Wow. And then the next thing that we have up there is the Argentina exhibit. Each one of the countries had a special pavilion, and in each pavilion they would feature culture from that country and cuisine from that country. And Argentina obviously had the steaks and everything else like that, and it was beautiful inside there. And the next one we have is the Italian one, the Vino.
Vino, over 1,300 wines on display, and as you walk through the entire pavilion where the expo was, Italy and Vino was center stage.
Those bottles of wine lined up look absolutely magnificent.
They were phenomenal. And the amazing thing they did, Barbara, with the expo and the wine was they highlighted each region. So if you wanted to try a Chianti from Abruzzo, or you wanted to try something from Lombardia, or you wanted to try something from Sicily, each wine came from different regions.
And you're sure you're Jewish?
I know.
There's no Italian there.
No Italian, except I live Italian.
I think you do. Ciao Bella, living Italian style.
Grazie.
Let's see that other slide. We have another one after the Italian slide from the expo. And this one is the USA.
USA
so tell us about that one.
USA was just everybody was dressed in red, white, and blue inside. And they gave you a feeling of what it was like to be in the United States. And the great thing was that I thought was special about the USA was each country inside was having their own. You could buy a little something from Argentina or Russia or Turkey or whatever, and it was right inside. But there was no food inside, and I was like wondering what the food was in the United States. But as you got to finish the expo, you walked out back, they had food trucks, which is hot right now in the United States.
Big deal.
And they had a barbecue food truck, they had a seafood food truck, they had a comfort food truck. It was just great, and I think I might have gained 10 pounds that day eating all the different food at all the food trucks.
I'll bet you there's a couple more pictures that we have because, of course, those of us who haven't gotten there are basking to see your pictures. This chocolate, this Belgium, you got to tell
Barbara,
us about that.
That was, you walked in up this aisle, and at the end of the aisle in the Belgian pavilion was a huge chocolate statue. And
it has to be huge because you can see the actual people in that picture.
Oh.
And it's humongous.
oh, it's humongous. And it was rich, dark Belgian chocolate.
Oh, how nice.
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. And I said to the person there, I said, do we get to break off pieces? And he goes, no, 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 no. This is the exhibit. But at the end, where you could get the food, they had the Belgian chocolate there. And believe me, it was to die for.
I'll bet. I'll bet.
I loved it.
It was amazing.
Oh,
What an
everything
amazing
about the
experience.
expo. I mean, when you go to Italy, most visitors go to Rome or Florence or Venice. So Milano is kind of the city that's left out. But now Milano is having its own resurgence. They had a
Yes.
beautiful Da Vinci exhibit this summer and in the expo this summer. So all these people are coming and they're discovering how wonderful Milano is.
And you go every year for
For the Versace fashion
and that's
show,
where they do it in
which
Milan?
will be June 19th next year in the summer. I've already got my trip booked for next summer for Italy again.
And do you take people on your excursion?
No, usually I go by myself because I'm kind of a fanatic. There was one person came with me one year, a girl I was dating at the time. But mostly I go by myself because I'm up early in the morning and stay out late at night. And I try to visit different regions. The Cinque Terre region, the beautiful Amalfi Coast. You go down to where Johnny's from, southern Italy, Calabria, which is very gravy rustic
Yes.
type of Italy.
Is that where the Versaces are from?
They're from Calabria in southern Italy, yes. That's where Johnny got his start. His mother was a seamstress, and Johnny got his love of fashion through his mother.
And how did you come about just the love of Versace?
I think
all
it was
these years?
the colors, Barbara. I mean, most fashion designers, you have the very famous fashion designers, the Armanis, the Ralph Laurens, the Chanels, and everything, and everybody has their own distinctive style. But when I saw the bright colors and the vibrancy, you put on a Versace shirt, you don't wear a shirt, you wear a feeling. I could be having the worst day in the world, which I've had recently, and I put on the shirt and it just makes me feel much, much better.
Well, I'm really glad that I met you, and who would not know you if you dress like this all the time? Because head to toe you're Versace, and in toned down Versace pants.
Toned down pants, but I got the yellow shoes to go with it.
Beautiful shoes, which we'll see in the next segment, because we're going to be standing up in that next segment. We got some fun entertainment, and stay tuned. Dizzy Fingers, if you don't know who he is yet, he's going to join us for some nice Italian music. And we're going to have more with Bryan Abrams when we come back on Ciao Bella Living Italian Style.
Ciao Bella. I'm Grace Achavati here with Rita, Angie, and Irene, my friends from Maris Grove. I am a proud subscriber to the Delaware Valley Italian American Herald newspaper, and you should be too. We get all of our latest news and upcoming events for the Ciao Bella Living Italian Style, including tours to the National Center for Padre Pio in Bartow and in the kitchen with family and friends, from tweens to seniors, making, sharing, tasting Italian recipes to pass on to the next generation. If you want to identify with your Italian roots and you are from Delaware, South Jersey, Greater Philadelphia, or the Southern Pennsylvania region, subscribe today. Ciao Bella!
This is my dream, to have music coming into every segment on Ciao Bella Living Italian Style. And who's giving it to you? It's courtesy of Dizzy Fingers, the famous Joe Soprani. He's joining us today with our friend Bryan Abrams, who's given us all Versace. And now that we're here all together, I love it, Joe. Love it, love it, love it. Thank you so much for joining us. And we're going to talk about some funny coincidences. You both have Pavarotti stories. And where did you first?
Well, I just happened to be, when I was in Milan this summer, and I was walking by wearing one of my vibrant Versace shirts, and this gentleman says to me, "What are you doing this evening?" And I said, "Probably getting a drink somewhere, a glass of wine or something." And he said, "Well, we're having a private opening. We're having an opening for the Pavarotti Museum, which is right in Milano." And so I got to go to the Pavarotti. I was very fortunate to see the man sing twice. It was just, I got chills now with his voice. It was just fantastic to hear that.
We're going to have to bring us some pictures. And Joe, you have some history with Pavarotti, some
I
real
concur
history.
with his statements, and I love performing for Pavarotti. I was his accordionist whenever he would come to Philadelphia, and it was just a thrill for me to be there with him. He was quite an artist.
And how many times did you play for Pavarotti?
About 6 times.
Well, that's
Yep.
an accomplishment.
Yep.
And your impression of him as a man?
Oh, an artist. He's one in a million.
One in a million.
Yes, fantastic voice.
And how was your communication with him and his language skills, even though he has his English?
It was tough, but we managed to communicate with our music.
That's
And
wonderful.
that was the key.
That was the
Being
key.
able to communicate with our songs.
And what did you play for him?
Oh, a variety. Whatever he had on his program, I was there.
God
As part of
bless
the
him.
orchestra, and primarily a lot of the Mancini arrangements I did with him. And the audience just loved it.
Oh, I'll bet your
Okay.
music is
Oh.
wonderful. Your music
Just-
is wonderful.
I miss him.
Everybody misses
Everybody
him. I mean,
misses
these are
Pavarotti.
legends.
Yes.
Pavarotti is a legend.
It's a once in
Versace.
Versace, Pavarotti. They're once in a lifetime people. They're geniuses. You know, you have other designers, you have other opera singers, but these are the creme de la creme. The people who, when you mention the name Versace, you see vibrant colors, and you mention the name Pavarotti, you think opera, you think his magnificent voice, and these are one-of-a-kind people.
They
Absolutely.
are. Now,
Absolutely.
how are we going to embrace you into the Italian, making you an honorary Italian or
A
something?
little Disney music.
So let's invite the girls in. Sandy and Ray, if you'll come in and join us. And we're going to have to eventually toast, okay? And we're going to have to say a Ciao Bella toast on the air.
Yes.
Ciao Bella. And while we're here, another story on our way out, Brian, on Donatella. Now today, and what you see.
Today, right now, Donatella is leading the Versace empire to new heights. She has started this whole Versus again, which was her baby when she was with Johnny, and now she started the whole Versus line with that. She's taken it. There's Versace hotels in Australia. There's a Versace hotel that's opening up in Dubai, and they're just taking the brand to whole new lengths under Donatella's and the wonderful CEO of the company, a man named Giacomo Ferraris.
And do I understand that there's some nieces or nephews that are also involved?
Well, yeah, Donatella's niece Allegra owns 50% of the Donatella's daughter, I'm sorry,
Okay.
not niece, Johnny's niece. Johnny's niece, Allegra, owns 50% of the company. And she also has a son, Daniel, who's very musically inclined. He would be jumping in right here with us right now.
Well, we're having our own little Versace
Exactly,
party today.
exactly.
So we have to give Joe a little bit of elbow room, okay, because he's going to play for us. And what are you going to play for us,
Well,
Joe?
I could go out with the Dizzy Fingers.
There you go.
Okay, that sounds good. Well, you keep playing Dizzy Fingers. We're going to thank Julia, which I always forget to thank our director for doing such a great job. Sandy, our executive producer. Sandy helps doing everything, booking all these great talents that you hear. We have to say thanks to George Strimmel for allowing Ciao Bella Living Italian Style to be able to bring you such fun entertainment and stories of people you normally wouldn't know. Now, next time you're walking down the streets of Wilmington or Philadelphia, you look for this Versace shirt because guess what? You're going to see our own Bryan Abrams. So Dizzy, we'll leave it up to you. Ciao Bella.
Ciao Bella.
Ciao Bella.